Like, addiction really effing sucks. It's brutal. It's horrible. There's so much shame involved. You see yourself like hating yourself, and what is wrong with you? And I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And then you see yourself just going through the motions and doing it again and again, and you just feel totally out of control. What is wrong with me? All these sorts of thoughts. It's horrible. But there is hope. There's ways to recover, and you can think about it like the amount of pressure, the amount of suffering that comes with addiction can be the great awakener and help you to evolve and be who you really need to be in this world. Good luck. What up, yo? My name's Nick. I'm a licensed therapist and also a recovering drug addict myself. Man, it's been a journey. I say opiates took me out, but I've pretty much tried all the things, unfortunately. And I also have worked at a local nonprofit, for almost 4 years now at the city near me that those who live there would consider the hood, right? One of those U.S. cities that has the top homicide rates and all those things going on. And I work with individuals who are impoverished, so have no money, and also have co-occurring mental illness and substance use disorders. Think someone with schizophrenia and also alcohol use disorder, someone with bipolar disorder and methamphetamine use, someone with depression and fentanyl use. So it's high stakes. I see so much suffering. I've lived through a lot of suffering. A day in my life can be so intense serving the individuals I work with to the best of my ability. And it's really important to me to help those with lack resources and have so many barriers, to just help them feel seen and work through some of this really, really difficult stuff. Oh my gosh, I empathize with it so much. The suffering can be unbearable. You get so lost and you're just playing out the same patterns, just trying to cope. It's a lot. This is my little intro for a video on urge surfing and overcoming addictions. Addiction is addiction is addiction, as they say. So whether it's substances or a myriad of other addictions, right? Stay tuned. I think this could be helpful for you. Thanks. Red Hoodie Sunday, Hope Dealer Series A. Okay, let's get into it. I am Nick. I am a clinical therapist. I guess I work with co-occurring disorders. That's mental illness and substance use all together now. All right, I'll stop torching y'all with that. Welcome, hello. Thanks for being here. I want to talk today about dealing with addiction. I want to talk about a technique. We're gonna surf the urge, ride the wave. It's a technique called urge surfing, something I use with my clients. I'm also working on it myself, right? As I do, practice what you preach. So anyway, urge surfing, whatever addiction you got going on, pretty much all of us at this point are stuck in some sort of dopamine trap, right? Whether that's video games or porn or just social media or drugs or alcohol or nicotine, relationships, or, right? So this is a really helpful thing to know, because part of being stuck in that cycle, that habit loop, is being able to deal with the cravings and kind of break the pattern. Because right now your brain has an idea of a trigger or a cue happens, and that means immediately I need to address that feeling, so I immediately go to the behavior, which is using the drug or whatever, and then I get some sort of relief. How are we going to break this cycle? That's where urge surfing comes in. So the idea is, cravings, by the way, almost never last for longer than 10 minutes, and often even less than that, if you can get through them without empowering them in some way or giving in to that urge. So that's a place to start. The idea is, and you can look at this from a psychological or a spiritual perspective, like in Buddhism, the whole idea is to reduce your level of attachment to things, and you do that by observing without involving yourself, without giving too much energy to it, right? Observing without reacting. That's the right word. Okay, so the idea, a craving hits, okay? First thing, note that. Don't let it take you over. You note it. You say, a craving is here. And by the way, I'm not the craving. I'm observing the craving. That's your role here. Got people watching me. So anyway, so you notice that, you say it internally, right? A craving appears. Okay, first thing, take some slow deep breaths, at least 5 to 10. A simple way to use it is to breathe in slowly through the nose while counting to 4, and then breathe out slowly while counting to 6. You want to extend the exhale a little bit longer than the inhale, as this relaxes the nervous system, engages the parasympathetic nervous system, calms it down. That's what we want. So then the next thing is, instead of getting involved in the mind, and there's going to be stories and thoughts and all these things, you want to bring your attention into the body, into the physical sensations. And this could be different for you. It could be a knot in the stomach. It could be some energy buzzing in your hands. It could be heat. Like, you want to get into the sensations, and instead of the story about it, you're just observing the feeling itself. You want to take the perspective of, like, I'm a scientist, I'm curious, and I'm observing this phenomenon. I'm not getting involved in it, I'm not emotionally reacting, simply aware of it, observing it. So you're noticing some of those internal sensations going on. And the idea is that cravings rise and fall like waves. None of it is permanent, it's always temporary. And if you can just tune into those feelings while they rise and fall, you'll notice you can get through it in a few minutes or 10 minutes and not use, let's say. And this starts to break that habit loop and give you back conscious control, right? That's also part of the breathing, is it turns back on the prefrontal cortex, where you have some ability to make decisions and some control, versus just it being taken over and the amygdala being activated, right? Your emotional center of your brain, and the nucleus accumbens is involved in like reward and everything. So those will take over. But what you're doing here is consciously putting back on the prefrontal cortex, getting into the sensations, and you're rolling with it. Surfing the urge, baby. Urge surfing. So ride that wave, and you'll be amazed how you can get through it just through observing it. And one thing to try is, like, set a timer for 10 minutes and, like, I'll decide what to do at that point. Just give it 10 minutes. Tune into it. Ride the wave. And there's always 3 layers, right? It goes the physical body sensations, the mental level, and then the emotional layer. Another thing they teach in addiction recovery stuff is an acronym like HALTS, which is check hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or stressed. These are some of the most common triggers. So the emotional layer is about, like, what do I actually need right now? Because we lean into our addictive substance or behavior, whatever, to get some relief, right? What is it that you're actually looking for? Is it comfort? Is it rest? Is it connection? That's a big one. So these are just some thoughts on that, a way to practice it. You can do it quick. Try it. I'm working on it myself. When you notice one of those cravings hit, just give it a few minutes. Notice a craving just hit. Okay, a craving is there. Let me do my simple breathing for a minute or 2. Let me tune into the sensations. Let me realize this urge, this craving changes. Like, it's not a forever thing. It doesn't need to take you over. You can say, ooh, it's real intense right now. But it's got a little lighter. And you're just curious about, what are these sensations? And you're just riding with it. And it's so powerful. Your neuroplasticity, right? You can train your brain out of this habit loop that may have taken over your life. It's destroyed so many people's lives. And for some people, it doesn't feel like their addiction is bad enough where it's destroying your life, but you're still just kind of caught in an uncomfortable space where you don't feel like you're in control, and you have all this guilt and shame around it. That happens a whole lot. So just something to try. It's a really helpful technique. And yeah, whether from a spiritual perspective, where it's just like, learn to be less attached to things, less emotionally reactive. This works for more than addictions. It's like observing the sensation. I mean, I'm rereading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. whichever. And a big part here is like every chance you get, tune into the inner energy body, however you want to view it, but just tune into your body. Take away some of the energy and attention and consciousness that's in your mind, which causes all the suffering, and tune into the body as much as you can, that inner energy field there. That allows you to be more present here in this moment, and you're giving less attention and energy to the mind. Because we all get caught in these stories, right? The ego is basically your narrative about yourself, your story about yourself. And what does all that mean? But the truth is, even a strong emotional reaction to something doesn't last more than 90 seconds unless we keep thinking about it and adding a story about what it all means about us and da 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 da. You're causing your own suffering in that way. So you can lean into it, watch it move, and just observe it, and you can take a lot of power away from these emotional reactions. Okay, I think I've blabbed long enough. Happy Sunday. Peace and blessings to one and all, and catch you next time. Addiction is so isolating, and they say addiction is isolation and recovery is connection. So there's something to be said about how we can't really recover alone, whether that's your idea of God, a higher power, or just relationships, having a positive group of like-minded people that support each other. This is necessary to recover.